I look around, I saw Commissioner Bravo. Commissioner, welcome. It's great to have you. I saw the Deputy Borough President, Janet Peguero, right here. Janet. And if I start going down the list, I also saw the President. He's doing wonderful things on the Grand Concourse. Just wonderful things. And that's my good friend, Michael Carey. Where's Michael Carey? Michael Carey, thank you very much. Michael, I have to say this out loud. We were expecting, you won the title, the Catholic title. We wanted the entire city title, right? 3 points? 3 points. Oh, but it's okay. The room got really quiet, right? He's starting to call people out. This is really bad. You know, this would not be a party without Amate. Where is he? Where is he? Amate? Amate. Yeah. You can tell this is Bloomberg Spanish, okay? Thank you very much. For 55 years, 1010 Wins has certainly had its pulse on this city, the Big Apple. And now through our neighborhood spotlight, we focus on what makes this city so great. The strength, the creativity, the character of our city. When you think about strength, creativity, and character. And you might as well add some history and success right here at the Hard Rock Cafe in what I call the Cathedral of Baseball, Yankee Stadium. This is such a special place. Yeah, we could applause for Yankee Stadium. We got a lot of Yankee fans here. And this is such a great place for us to meet new people, and I've certainly met a lot of new people, and talk about the new dynamic energy that's taking place, that leadership under our borough president, of what's taking place in the Bronx. And speaking of leadership, we cannot do this without our sponsor, Dime Community Bank. And I want to welcome a couple of people. Is Eunice Santino with us today? Eunice? Right here, Eunice. Thank you very much. Let's hear it for Dime Community Bank, right? Branch manager, right? Do I get that? Soundview? At Soundview. Okay, let's hear it. Soundview, come on. Yeah. And Richard Dodson. Where's Richard? I just met him just before. Where's Richard? Richard Dodson. Now, Richard, Borough President, you have to hear this. Richard just left Queens, St. Patrick's Day celebration in Queens, to be with us here today. So, Richard, thanks for fighting traffic and being in the better borough, the Bronx. We thank you for your sponsorship of this program and all you do for this city. And this would not be a 1010 Wins event without us giving away some Broadway tickets. Is Greeley Diaz here? Greeley Diaz? Is Greeley Diaz here? Where is Greeley Diaz? Greeley Diaz. Are you Greeley? For 3 orchestra seat tickets. 3 good seats. Mark Basinski picked them out. To Some Like It Hot. You have to answer this question. And Luis Garcia, you can't yell it out, okay? He wore number 2. He's a Hall of Famer. He spent his entire 20-year career with the New York Yankees. The borough president wants these seats. Who am I speaking of? Derek Jeter for the tickets. You're welcome. I know. I want to take Walsh's class. That's really easy, right? Is Anthony Rooney here? Anthony Rooney. Come on, step up. Anthony. Green tie, you must be a Manhattan College guy. Anthony, a tougher question now. Juliet, you can't help him out on this one. For 2 tickets to Kimberly Akimbo. Kimbo? Has anyone seen this show? Is it a good one? Michael Nixon says it's good. Complete the sentence. You ready? I'm ready. You give us 22 minutes. We give you...
The world.
Those are your 2 tickets. I have to go back to the videotape on that. I saw a couple of... we may have some troubles on this one. There might be a scandal be written in the New York Post. Who called that out? About 55 people did. You bet. You give us 22 minutes, we give you the... Yeah, you got it. Okay. Now, to kick things off, or better yet, throw out the first pitch. I know, I couldn't help it. I want to introduce a colleague of mine that I've enjoyed working on this neighborhood spotlight with for a number of years, and also working on what some people are being introduced to tonight, is the 1010 Wins Small Business Challenge. Let me introduce and put your hands together for Mark Basinski. Mark?
Good afternoon. What a pleasure it is to not only be here, but a pleasure to see all of you folks. You know, Rob and I started this program at 1010 Wins 8 years ago, and at this point we have awarded over $180,000 to small businesses, and this is going to be the kickoff. But before we get into that, I just wanted to mention that the last 3 years have been, of course, difficult. We've been doing this by Zoom. It's not the same. The interaction that we've had with you folks, to be able to come out to the street, to find out what's going on in the Bronx, what the needs are, what's happening, nothing like it. So we're so grateful not only to be here, we're grateful that you folks are here as well. Right? Yeah. Thank you. I also want to thank the Borough President, Vanessa L. Gibson, and also the Bronx Tourism Council, Selma Brown, for being so supportive for not only the Bronx, but supportive for the new program that we just initiated recently at 1010 Wins called the Bronx Beat. How many people have heard the Bronx Beat and 1010 Wins so far? Perfect, thank you. You will hear it throughout the week, and it's such a pleasure to have a great presence with 1010 Wins on the radio station. You know, Rob and I have taken this on the road to all parts of the 5 boroughs. We've been to Brooklyn. We've been to Lower Manhattan. We've been to Queens. And it's so great to have this event, especially 15 days before opening day of the New York Yankees. Together with Dime Community Bank, who has been our loyal sponsor for the last 8 years, we have started a program called the 1010 Wins Small Business $10,000 Challenge. The criteria is very simple. Basically, it's small businesses of up to 100 employees. It's businesses that are within the New York metro area, can tell us what they will do to expand, enhance, and enlarge their business. The competition and the challenge started today. The URL is 1010wins.com/challenge, all lowercase, and you tell us what you can do to enlarge and enhance that business. Besides, you may be our next winner. It gives me great pride to introduce to you our last winner from Long Island, from Trellis Same-Day Delivery Service here today, JR and Sam, who are seated right over here. Please stand to be recognized, $10,000 challenge winner. Now, in their pitch, they said that if they were the winner of the $10,000, they were going to give the entire $10,000 back to business. And that's exactly what they've done. They provided their own grant, and they've given it away to small business. Thank you very much to Trellis. Thanks for being here today. So as they say in the New York Lotto, you have to be in it to win it. We would like to have all of you folks who are eligible to please go to our website and tell us what you would do to enlarge and enhance your business at 1010wins.com/challenge. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here today. Go Bronx.
Good job. Hey, Mark, good job. I want to see a lot of Bronx nominations for that Small Business Award. I want to see a lot of them. We did have a Bronx winner recently, a coffee shop up on Arthur Avenue called Prince Coffee Shop. It's a big Fordham hangout, but they won not too long ago. Now it's my great honor, and it certainly is a great honor, to introduce the borough president. And she's fresh off a spectacular, and I mean spectacular, State of the Bronx address at Manhattan College. At Manhattan College. And I've gotten to know her over the last couple of months, and she puts her heart, her soul, her smarts into making the Bronx a better place to live, to work, and visit. Let's put your big applause. Put your hands together for our 14th president of the Borough of the Bronx, and that's Vanessa L. Gibson.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Hard Rock Cafe in the heart of the New York Yankee Stadium right here in the South Bronx. I welcome each and every one of you to this very important event hosted by our very own 1010 Wins News. Welcome to Neighborhood Spotlight right in the great borough of the Bronx. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the Bronx, right? So I want to say thank you to our interim president of the BOEDC, Rob Walsh, for your incredible partnership, for your leadership, for your passion. Since Rob became the president of BOEDC, he has truly hit the ground running. He has worked and engaged with many of you, our stakeholders, from so many parts of our great borough to really expand access and opportunity for our small businesses, who we truly know are the fabric and the foundation of our great borough. I am always honored to stand before all of you in my capacity as your Bronx Borough President, but even more so as a partner, as a friend, and an ally. And on behalf of my Deputy Borough President, who is here, and I want to acknowledge Deputy Borough President Janet Beguero. We are so thankful to serve all of you for this important moment as this. We are on the cusp of a renaissance here in the Bronx. We like to call it a cultural revolution. And when we say that, we want to make sure that we boost tourism. We look at the borough for all of the great beauty that we have always had, and we showcase all of our historic districts, our open spaces, our parkland, our waterfront, everything that makes the Bronx the beautiful mosaic that it is today. And all of you are truly a part of that. So I first want to say thank you to 1010 Wins News for your incredible leadership. Thank you to Mark Bazinski. Thank you to our very own world-renowned reporter and Bronx native, Juliet Papa. Thank you so much, Juliet, for the work you do. I want to acknowledge and say thank you to our partners at Dime Community Bank. Thank you for your incredible partnership and investing in our great borough. I also want to acknowledge Rafael Raja, who leads our Bickney Business Initiative Corporation of New York. Thank you so much. And of course, our very own Bronx native author, illustrator, wife, mother. She is the first Garifuna American to serve as the executive director of the Bronx Tourism Council. Sulma Arsu Brown. We are excited. We are so excited about the leadership of Sulma and certainly to her team at the Bronx Tourism Council, Veronica and Julius, and everyone that does so much to boost tourism here in this borough. We are excited, and as many of you were a part of our first State of the Borough address earlier this month, we know the Bronx is a borough of opportunities, and we want to make sure that all of those opportunities reach residents and families across all of our neighborhoods, no matter what. We want to boost our tourism. We want to make sure that tourists come to the Bronx and look forward to visiting our cultural institutions, from the Bronx Zoo to the Botanical Gardens to the Bronx Museum of the Arts, Wave Hill, Bregones Theater, Ghetto Film School, Bronx River Art Center. So many of our landmarks. We see so many of our entrepreneurs and business leaders, like the Bronx native, doing great work right here in our borough. We see the opportunities that hip-hop has provided as a global empire, and we are building the first universal hip-hop museum right here in the Bronx. Shout out to our executive director in Rocky Bucano, representing Universal Hip-Hop Museum. And you saw last December, we did something that was long overdue. We opened the first ever Bronx Children's Museum right here in the Bronx, because our children deserve a space for exploration and education and culture and artistic designs, so that our young people have a place to not just dream, but to really make sure that their dreams come true. That is what all of you have done. And now we turn it up another notch to the next level, because we realize with all the great progress we have made, we still have much, much more to do. We want to reimagine the Kingsbridge Armory and bring the largest armory in the world to a beacon of hope and opportunity, of jobs, of culture and education and healthcare and economic development and small business, looking at vertical farming and how we create good-paying, solid jobs that create a pathway to the middle class. Look at the work that we're doing to transform our very own Bronx Riviera, AKA Orchard Beach, with the renovations at our pavilion. Look at what we're doing down in the South Bronx at the Hunts Point Produce Market. $140 million from Mayor Eric Adams, and more to come. Creating 1,000 new union jobs and transforming our Hunts Point Produce Market, making it more energy efficient, reducing our carbon footprint of trucks, and reducing air pollution, and so much that our residents have lived with. Capping the Cross Bronx and dealing with environmental injustice and systemic racism that has plagued our borough for far too long. We have often been last in everything good and first in everything bad. No more. We are turning these numbers around. We are turning our statistics into success stories, and we are setting our young people up for success and not failure. And that's why we need all of you. We need our partners, from the cultural institutions to our partners, our colleges and universities, to all of our leaders. Look at what we're doing to expand transportation access with the expansion of the Metro North in 4 communities, from Co-op City to Hunts Point to Morris Park and Parkchester Van Ness. Billions of dollars invested in our borough, jobs, transformative jobs, supporting our small businesses, giving them access to capital, building generational wealth, supporting our entrepreneurs and our MWBEs. That is what this work is all about. So when we talk about a borough of opportunities, ladies and gentlemen, we mean just that. We want to level the playing field and make sure that all of those families that felt ignored, that felt denied, that have seen doors closed of opportunities, we want to open up those doors of opportunities so that our young people have apprenticeship opportunities and jobs, and we're creating affordable housing and pathways to home ownership. We get it, and we know the work that needs to be done. So we can't just talk about it, community. We have to be about it. And so the Neighborhood Spotlight is our efforts to focus on the Bronx in a very intentional and strategic way, looking at creative and innovative partnerships, because government cannot save us. We need public and private partnerships to get this work done. We need our partners in the private sector who align with our values, share our blueprint, and understand what we need to get things done from the perspective of equity and justice. And I say equity because we all should be provided with the same resources and the same programs. Justice because if our people don't have access to healthy food and good jobs and stable housing and quality health care, then guess what? It's an injustice. And so we are righting the wrongs of years and years of systemic racism. We are turning these conversations around, and all of you are very much a part of that. And so I am grateful to be here, and we have an incredible panel of distinguished leaders that will share their thoughts with you on the Renaissance in our borough of opportunities. And I want to say thank you and recognize, of course, they will be acknowledged, but I do want to recognize them. Michael Maxnabi on behalf of BronxNet, our public access media. Rocky Bucano representing Universal Hip Hop Museum. Carla Pretch, our founding executive director of the Bronx Children's Museum. And our very own executive director of the Bronx Tourism Council, Sulma Arasu Brown. So just like 1010 Wins News, ladies and gentlemen, we will keep our fingers on the pulse. We will keep our eyes on the prize. We will stay focused. We will be strategic. We will be intentional in getting this work done. We are already working on signature events like Bronx Week 2023, like Tour de Bronx 2023, in which we ride all across the Bronx and go through our historical landmarks and districts across this borough, and we show the beauty of what the Bronx is all about. The one message I want to resonate with everyone is that we all play a role in this. I don't want anyone to think that your words, your work are not valuable and not appreciated and not supported. We all have to do this work together. As your borough president, I am only as good as the team assembled, but also as all of the partners that you are to our office. And so on behalf of my deputy borough president, my chief of staff who's here, Justin Cortez, and the entire office, we look forward to working with you, and we also want to thank 1010 Wins News because they have helped us amplify the voices of the Bronx with Bronx Beat. We also have ILoveTheBronx.com and so many things that Sulma will talk about. But thank you so much for your love and your passion, your commitment, your consistency, your dedication, your labor of love, your investment. Thank you for what you do. We will not give up. There is too much potential, too much promise that we have in this borough to ever give up. Our children need us. Our families need us. Our seniors need us. Our veterans need us. The Bronx needs us. And when we get together, united, standing in solidarity, with one voice, with one blueprint, we are unstoppable. Other boroughs look at us in envy and say, look at what's happening in the borough. They already try to take hip-hop from us, right, Rocky? They already try to take hip-hop from us. But we are a special and unique borough for a reason. And I want to make sure that we all understand our assignment that we have been given, the purpose that we have every day to make a difference, to leave footprints for others to follow, to make a difference in someone else's life, to set our young people up for success, preparing them for the future, giving them jobs, giving them access and opportunities. And that is what all of you do and what you bring to the table. So we look forward to working with you. We are energized, we are fired up, we are ready to go to build the Bronx and create a cultural revolution right here in the Bronx. Thank you, everyone.
Wow. How do you How do you follow that? Let's hear it for our borough president. I thought she left it all on the court up at Manhattan College. I thought she left it all on the court. So I'm up here because they told me to stand up here because they're changing the mic. And this is my way of trying to cover up some people that might be working behind me. How am I doing with this so far, Doctor?
It's good. We're good.
We're good? Okay,
Yeah.
so I can go back.
Yeah.
One more time. Is there a bigger cheerleader for the Bronx than Vanessa L. Gibson? Oh, but there's another one. There's another big cheerleader. We heard about her already, and she got a big round of applause, and that's our executive director of the Bronx Tourism Council, Soma Orzo Brown.
All right, all right. Can everybody hear me? All right, buenas tardes, buitiraban veyu, and good afternoon, everyone. Those are the only three languages I know: English, Garifuna, and Spanish. I haven't learned anyone. You know, I heard our family, our team at the BP's office is like, that's a hard act to follow. Believe me, and for some reason, I'm always put to speak after the BP for all the right reasons, but boy, is that hard. She's amazing, fantastic. But I am here today because I have a responsibility to my Bronx community. As an immigrant, Garifuna, that came here at the age of 5 or 6, somewhere around that, the Bronx has been my home for several years. From Kelly Street to Oneida Street to Castle Hill to back in Hunts Point, I am pure Bronx. And what I'm doing here at the Bronx Tourism Council is literally a privilege, and it is my responsibility and love letter to the borough that has contributed to family legacy, growth, and impact. Everything that my family and I are is because of the Bronx and the example of the community they set for us and opened the doors for me and my family. So I can't wait to share what has been ordained and placed in my heart and my mind, I think, over several years of experience here, and that is the vision of the Bronx Tourism Council. When I sat on that chair on January 4th, immediately we were trying to figure out what is the vision, and boom, it is to make the Bronx a global destination. You know why? Because this is not going to be the first time we do this. It's already been a global destination. Anybody heard of hip hop? Anybody heard of hip hop? Okay, that came from the Bronx. And I want to share with you a couple of things of why it's important for us to do this. A lot of things that I myself did not know about the Bronx. Some Bronx facts, right? The BP Vanessa Gibson mentioned that we have 4 Metro North stations coming. It's going to make it accessible for not just the residents, but for tourists to come to our great borough of the Bronx. New developments are coming. I love the fact that she is hands-on on making sure that our apartments are 2 to 3, 4-bedroom apartments to make sure that our families stay together, because the foundation of the Bronx is family, and we need to keep our families together. This is something that was new to me. The Bronx is a college town. We are a young town. 12 colleges of university. What are we doing to retain that knowledge here, right? And this is where we come in. This is where the Bronx tourism comes in. We are not only an organization that's going to give you events and experiences, but we are here to build a tourism economy. And I know we can do it because in just 30 days, this is what we were able to do. Right? In the first 30 days, we have a brand new redesigned website. If you're not going to the website, it is now super user-friendly, ilovethebronx.com. It's gonna blow your mind. It's easy on the eyes. The colors are bright like the Bronx, right? We are in partnership with 1010 Wins for the Bronx Beat. This is probably like one of our favorite things that we experience. It opens up with the Bronx Borough President telling you, hey, we have something great happening in the Bronx, right? And then I'm in there telling you all the cultural attractions you should come to, the culinary experiences, the art museum, the small businesses, everything that should attract not just the residents, but people from all over the world. We have a 30-second prime time spot coming twice a week. Today's the 17th, no, on the 17th at 9:33 a.m. Listen in, okay? And we're also at 3:55 p.m., so listen in. And you're gonna see that progress is happening. We love our borough so much so that we want people to come here and visit and spend money so we can grow the tourism economy, so we can grow the small businesses. When was the last time you asked the small businesses, what is your dream for your business? Is your dream to stay small? And 9 times out of 10, or 10 out of 10, they want to go big. They started their small businesses because they're thinking about their family legacy. That is a fact. So it is our job to make sure that tourists go through as many corridors as possible so that we can help those small businesses' dream come true. And that is part of what we're taking on. We've had a newsletter makeover. So if you're not signed on, you want to sign on. We're not going to bombard you. It's like once a month, but you're going to love it and you're going to find great experiences. Our social media, thank God for our social media marketing manager, Veronica Guiti, who has been doing a spectacular job highlighting and showing all of you off. She's been showing everybody off because we love showing off the people in our borough. And thank you so much to Julius Drake. If it wasn't for him, my director of operations, I would not be set up to win the way he set me up to win. And kudos to the amazing Rob Walsh. He pushes us because he's seen what is possible. He has seen what's behind the veil, and he's making sure we're taking it to that level because it is possible here in the Bronx. And of course, you are experiencing a new signature event right here. So you're actively participating in something new we have going. A look ahead, more things to come. We have a year packed of experiences, and I want to say 5 to 10 years packed of experience. Bronx Week is happening May 8th through May 21st. We have the Bronx Ball, in which we're recognizing incredible people from the Bronx. In the past, we've recognized anywhere from Neil deGrasse Tyson to Swiss Beats and everyone in between that has contributed to something excellent. We are partnering with the Universal Hip Hop Museum, right, and Grandmaster Flash to curate the very first hip hop tour, the most authentic experience told by the people that created it themselves or contributed to creating. So we're very, very exciting. And the Bronx 365 initiative will launch in the third quarter of the year. But it's all about the Bronx sites and highlighting all the wonderful people. Why do we have to highlight the wonderful people of the Bronx? Because a lot of times people are telling us, is the Bronx good to go? You know, is it safe? Is it good? I'm like, why don't you meet the people first? So instead of listening to the narratives that have been pushed and thrown down our throat, get to meet us first. I think we're one of the most friendliest, most amazing people, most amazing borough in the world. And this is what we want people to see when they go into our website. You know, I keep saying when I meet with incredible individuals, colleges, VPs of colleges, and presidents of institutions such as the Botanical Garden and Yankee Stadium and the Bronx Zoo, all of these incredible anchors, one thing that they have proven to us is that the Bronx is a tourist borough. We have over 7 million people coming to the Bronx on an annual basis. We have double-checked these numbers with the people in those organizations. That's an estimated $1 billion worth of revenue going to specific anchor organization. But we need to create something, again, to move these experiences to cultural corridors, okay? We want to establish tourism programming, provide training and development for guides that will lead to certification, whether it's walking tours or whether it's future trolley tours. We want to make sure that we are developing this workforce development, and we are going to need your help to make this happen. Cultural corridors include the Castle Hill area, where you could go from a Black-owned juice bar, across the street is a Mennonite cafe, to City Island, best seafood in the country. East Tremont, I don't need to go there. Hunts Point, the best waterfront and black-owned, woman-owned hip-hop cafe that's there. We have the Ma Haven. I mean, Ma Haven is just a scene. If you have not experienced Ma Haven, you gotta go. That's like, that's mine and my husband's hangout spot of the summer, all right? Where you will find a Maoris, the Bronx native there. The South Bronx, come on, hip hop, okay? Wakefield, the best Jamaican Caribbean food you can ever imagine. Can we please get some tourists out there and build this up? We need your support. We need your funding. We need your partnership. We are not gonna say no to anyone, because the only way we know how to build in the Bronx is together. When the Bronx was burning and Fort Apache wanted to create a movie about us, the Bronx community got together and said, I don't think so. The movie was not allowed in the Bronx and in other cities. When the narrative about our young people que no sirven para nada, that they don't do nothing, they were creating hip-hop. So don't tell me that we don't have a legacy of excellence. When we became the forgotten borough, the people that did not forget about the Bronx was the Bronx community, and we built it up together. So no me digan nada, because we've already done it, and we're gonna do it again. That is our legacy. Now, there's a lot of people in the room, and I'm gonna wrap it up like this. We have an Instagram, social media, at Bronx Tourism, okay? Follow us. I know who has been here. I'm gonna make sure and check whether or not you follow us, okay? And if you know anyone that can become our partners, the businesses that are here, we will be contacting you as well. We need your dollars, your censu, your money, your dinero to make this possible and grow this economy from the Bronx and throughout. Thank you so much.
Follow that. Go ahead, follow that. I couldn't get through I couldn't even get through all those neighborhoods the way she did that, huh? But I now know where to find her on Saturdays and Sundays. You gave it up. Right? Now, to lead the conversation, boy, Juliet, you have your hands full. We have a Bronx native who continues to dedicate her time to so many great causes across the borough. I saw her speaking to the president of Cardinal Hayes High School. She just donated her mom's piano. I don't know if you have a second one, but the first one went to Cardinal Hayes High School. Thank you very much, Juliet, for doing that. And doing so much. Anytime I have called Juliet to lend a hand outside of her work as a colleague at 1010 Win, she's been there. Award-winning reporter, an author, and a great colleague. Put your hands together for Juliet Popper, who's going to be moderating our panel. And I will ask the other panelists to step forward. Rocky's here with us. It looks like a very view format that they got going on here. Juliet, be tough with them, would you? Let's hear it for Juliet Papa and our panel. With Michael, Rocky, Carla, and Suma. You're on.
Great. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. We have an amazing panel here. These are all visionaries who have made their vision a reality. And that's no easy feat in New York City, where you are dealing with millions of people, regulations, you are dealing with bureaucracy, red tape, and yet you persevere, and then you get people involved to sign on with you, really, and support you and fund you. So I just want to introduce everybody really briefly. Sulma, we know. Rocky Bucano, Universal Hip Hop. You have an amazing story. They should make a movie of this guy's life because his story is just unbelievable. Carla Precht, Children's Museum, has done amazing things. She's moving on, but she has brought this to life in a very new and different way. And Michael Max Nobby, BronxNet in the South Bronx, who communicates with the residents of the borough. And you know what I wanted to ask, first of all, when I talk about visionaries, are you talking about making this a global destination? What does that mean exactly? What are you going to do? You said 7 million people are coming here already, but how do you want to make this into a bigger picture? And, we know like Brooklyn, the other B borough, has sort of become a brand. How do you turn the Bronx into a brand?
The Bronx is already a brand. Okay, let's just start there. It's already a brand, and it's a brand that has not been branded by the Bronx. So what we're doing is making sure we are first partnering with the Bronx, with the community, with the businesses the community already support, with the influencers that are coming from the Bronx, with our friends in media, to make sure that we are creating, we are owning the narrative at this point. It wasn't even that we lent it out. We didn't even lend it out, because when we lend some things out, it's because we trust others with it. So at this point, it's like, no, we're going to take it back. And the only way we know how to do things is as a community. I've had a lot of grassroots experience. The reason why I'm sitting here right now, one of the reasons is Michael Max Nobby. And a lot of reasons are here, all right? So the only way I know how to do things is work from within, and we can tell our stories together. That is why we are making sure that the Bronx Beat is present, right? And 1010 wins, so we can talk about what's happening in our community. This is why we're going to launch the Bronx 365 about our community. Once we make it about ourselves, the self-esteem and the pride, and our biggest person and ambassadors are the people in this community. And this is why we're partnering with the Universal Hip Hop Museum to do the Birth of a Culture Hip Hop Tour in partnership with Grandmaster Flash. This is why the Bronx Children's Museum, which I had a meeting with Denise a couple of days ago, we are also going to be partnering. So you're seeing it right now. This is the branding, this is the co-branding, and this is the collaborative effort of real partnerships that start right here in the Bronx.
So Rocky, I mentioned, if you have time to look this guy up, really, you came through the music industry, you started production companies. What gave you this idea for Universal Hip Hop Museum and bringing it here, and what was that adventure like for you?
So I started as a teenage DJ many years ago in the early 70s. I'm a Bronx native. I still live in the Bronx. My family lives in the Bronx. Die-hard Bronx all the way through. I had my own record company. I worked with so many different artists. I've seen hip-hop from before it was hip-hop to where it is today. And, sometimes when you're creating something, you don't really realize the journey until you are actually in it. So when we created it, we didn't actually know where it was going to go, where it was going to end up. And we kind of like took a tour around the Bronx. We went to the Kingsbridge Armory first. I know Vanessa Gibson wants to bring that project to life, and it definitely should be brought to life because it's been vacant for far too long. And then we went to the original Bronx County Courthouse, and we tried over there. And now we are teamed up with a great commercial real estate development team, L&M Development Partners, who's bringing affordable housing. So it's a partnership between the public and private sector coming together. The vision was really, you couldn't create a cultural institution that represents the global history of hip-hop and not have it where hip-hop was originated. So that was the original intent, make sure that it was based here in the Bronx. Because let me tell you, people wanted to try this in other cities, and I was like, that would be blasphemy, right? If we didn't have it,
No way, that could not happen, right?
An institution that represents hip hop, it has to be in the borough where it originated. So now that it's happening, now it's really trying to, like Suma was saying, is, I believe, yes, the Bronx is a brand, but we are rebranding the Bronx now. Because so many people have this negative view of the Bronx, we have to make them see the beauty of the Bronx. And a lot of that is happening with the Children's Museum, Botanical Gardens, Bronx Zoo, City Island. Right. And we're just adding to that flavor
of attractions and cultural institutions. And hip hop being such a global culture, it becomes so important to make sure that this museum, when it does open, it becomes one of New York City's top museums. So that's the journey.
So, Michael, you're in communication business. How do you turn, let's say, that negative view of the Bronx? You know, the Bronx is burning and, fires and crime and blah, blah, blah. You're a communicator, and you, I'm sure, have done many constructive stories on people here on the panel, and you are communicating to the people of the Bronx. How do you encourage people of the Bronx to explore the Bronx?
So BronxNet is all about participatory media. And in our 30 years of public service as the multimedia public service network of the people of Bronx, we've provided experiential learning and workforce training for thousands of Bronx youth and Bronxites. What does this mean? Well, 30 years ago, the Bronx didn't have a media outlet. And BronxNet started broadcasting news and more, and news and analysis every day, twice a day. And those young people that got the training at BronxNet are now media leaders. They're in the news desks, they're the assignment editors, they're the producers, they're the anchors, they're the reporters, they're the production professionals. And our team at BronxNet, I'm proud of our team. Please stand up, the BronxNet team, right here. You guys are a part of positive transformation. And we are working with the next generation of media leaders. And together with the Bronx Borough President's Office and Vanessa L. Gibson, the Bronx Borough President, here we are at Yankee Stadium, and she has put together a winning team, dynamic team members like Zulma and Justin and Michael and everyone from Veronica, who's BronxNet family. I can keep going, but these are all stars for the community. And what we want to know, what we want to do and let people know is that the Bronx is iconic. It is a destination in epic ways. It's a symbol of urban renewal. The people of the Bronx are a particular type of strong. And BronxNet is your partner, Zulma Arzu-Brown and the Bronx Tourism Council and the Bronx Borough President's Office, to deliver that clarion call, to herald this new epic era for the people of the Bronx of opportunity as we partner with the Universal Hip Hop Museum. And it's beautiful to have a children's museum in the Bronx. And we're so proud to do stories in the Children's Museum. We've already done a number of productions there. And so as we train the next generation of media leaders and as we identify these not only cultural corridors, as you mentioned, Zulma, but also culinary corridors, we can connect these things so that like people know, hey, the best carrot cake in the world is where?
Lloyd.
Okay, Lloyd's Carrot Cake in the Bronx. The best cheesecake in the world is where? S&S Cheesecake in the Bronx. Ital and Vital West Indian food in the Bronx. You can keep going. We are a cultural capital in the world, and BronxNet, and BronxNet is your partner to help deliver that.
Thank you. Okay. Wow, this is like free advertising right here. Children's Museum. Carla, you were able to bring that, to relocate it, and then bring it, you said, beyond the walls.
Yes, yes.
And why was this so important, not only for the Bronx, but for the children here, and for people to come and see what you've done?
Well, as you probably know, the Bronx was the only borough that didn't have a children's museum or a like type of facility. But we started in the community. And you know, when you talk about the community, it's neighborhoods. It's many, many neighborhoods. We created a neighborhood-based programs, STEAM-based programs, and arts programs to learn about the community, so that when we actually opened, that we had a facility that they felt was theirs. So we really developed this bridge as we were out in the community for about 10 years. And then when we finally opened, now, you know, we have waiting lists every single day that we're open. And that's sort of our issue right now, is that we have too many people who want to get in.
Well, like boo-hoo, right? So talk about, in any of you here, partnerships. You need public-private partnerships because you need the money. You need to be funded. You need lawmakers on board. You need the politicians on board. How do you make that work so that this gets
well, you
beyond
first
your
go
little
to
project?
Vanessa. And
There you go. Hey,
And
look,
then
I,
you- and
I
then you go
remember
to-
when she was a council
Well,
person.
yes,
And
yes.
she was so right on for her district.
Right.
And she was on top of her issue. So Vanessa's the right person at the right time
Right.
for the Bronx.
Right, and
Yeah.
she, when I first met her, she was in the assembly. So we go way back, and it
Yeah.
really was because of Vanessa and BOEDC, honestly, BOEDC, that gave us our first grant. Talk about partnership. They gave us our first grant through the Empowerment Zone, and that really launched our entire exhibit development phase. Because to get programming in the community, you can get private money from foundations and some corporations and the Yankee Stadium folks. But when you want to build a building and you want to develop exhibits, that's a whole nother story. So would you like to also add to
Yeah.
that?
So please give it up for Carla, because I got to tell you, getting a museum off the ground is not an easy job. You know, this is, you know, someone said to me, one of my friends said, Rocky, you really don't know the journey that you're on, because building a hip hop museum really is truly like building a pyramid. You know, especially when you're starting with zero, which is where we started. You know, we started with just a hope and a wish.
And then you had to protect your turf, like you said. Other places
Yeah,
wanted
you know,
to
listen,
take hold.
we didn't want, you know, Ohio to say they got the hip hop museum in Cleveland. You know, it had
No,
to
they
be
got
here.
the other museum.
Right? You know, they got the Rock and Roll Hall of
Right.
Fame. So, you know, we, you know, had to partner with our elected officials like Vanessa, and before her, Ruben Diaz, and today's current Mayor Adams, and before him, Mayor de Blasio, and Governor Hochul, and before her, Governor Cuomo. So, you know, we've had a great partnership with every level of city and state, you know, elected officials to really get behind this project. And the reason why they got behind it is because I think we had a very clear vision on what this meant for tourism and economic development and jobs and the like. And they finally saw the vision, and it made it easier. And then Microsoft jumped on to help us. And now Chase Manhattan is jumping, JP Morgan Chase is jumping on to help us. So we're not where she's at, because she has her doors open. We're still a year and a half away, but it's
But
getting closer.
It's there. So Sulma, so do you need like a slogan, like for the Bronx? You need like a catchy phrase or something that is really, you know, promotable, you know, beyond the Bronx, or I don't know, something like that, because you want to get people out of the other boroughs or out of, you know, their other states. People come here to Yankee Stadium, they go to the Botanic Gardens. These are the things they know with Bronx Zoo. How else do you reach people to get them here, get them out of like their comfort zone? Oh yeah, there's other things to explore, you know, Van Cortlandt Park. Oh yeah, you can, you know, play golf up there. How do you get people beyond?
We are a global destination that's very catchy, right? That's very catchy, and it's been working thus far. Everyone is on this panel because they too believe the Bronx is a global destination, and they too believe in partnerships, right? You can't get any more catchier than that. We have to bring the T back in tourism. This right here, these partnerships are important because they have done it before. They have proven that partnerships and funding and mutually beneficial partnerships are possible, right? So with their help, we are gonna move the needle on this. Yes, I'm a visionary. We have the most hardworking team members, but we need more, right? We need the people that have been there before, that have, you know, that have been able to bring down walls, right, and make things possible, right? Building this economy, this tourist, this hospitality is not an easy feat. Can I say I have experience in that? No, right? But this is where everybody around is very important to me, right? When we first launched the 1010 Wins Bronx Beat, that was our way of saying, you know, let us show you first that we really believe in your institution. You know, the Bronx Children's Museum, Universal Children's Museum, Universal Hip Hop Museum were one of the first Bronx Beat spots. literally still on rotation right now. We wanted to make sure you believe that we were serious about this. I don't know how to do a lot of this, but I sure know how to build partnerships. And I'm a quick learner. Our team is intelligent. I'm a smart cookie. I'm also very wise because I pray for wisdom every day. All right? So, and that is why we are a global destination. And we're going to make sure that each and every one of you become our ambassadors. Right. I'm not going to do this alone. It's not right for me to do this alone. I only know how to work in community. So pass the word around.
Wait,
because the Bronx is what? A global
destination.
That's the marketing.
Where's the guy with the Bronx store?
Oh, the Bronx native.
Can you just come up here a second? He has the Bronx store.
Can I get a yeah? Shout out to Sulma, shout out Bronx Borough Press, shout out everybody in this panel, shout out everybody right here. Round of applause to you. Let's get it.
Just talk briefly about what you sell in your store. First of all, look at the hat. Right?
Yes. So I like to say Bronx Native is more than a brand, it is a movement, right? We make merchandise that empowers, that inspires, that elevates the Bronx and really showcases what the Bronx is about. And it's about beauty, it's about us, it's about going up. So let's get it. Round of applause. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
I want to steal that, actually. The Bronx is a movement.
Yes.
And I also just want to say one more thing, being that we're in Yankee Stadium. Mauri's the Bronx native, so because the Bronx Beat have been such a success thus far, Yankees actually wants us to put video and have them featured on the Jumbotron in Yankee Stadium opening night. And Mauri's is taking on our first videos on that. And we will be partnering with more local talents. We'll be partnering with BronxNet to make sure everyone gets an opportunity to create videos for us on the Jumbotron at Yankee Stadium.
Max, how important video is everything these days? You know, so many young people. You're talking about nurturing young people and giving them careers and giving them opportunities. How important is what people see and how to promote the borough? And where would you put that? This is going into Yankee Stadium, opening day. It's a packed house, and they have, record crowds there every year. Where else could you see possibilities with that?
I mean, really, what I like to say is BronxNet is from the Bronx to the world, from the Bronx to the universe. So consider the 6 channels that are your network, your public service network. The 6 channels represent the diversity of one of the most diverse places of the world, the Bronx. So download the BronxNet app, number 1, and go to bronxnet.tv to watch this content that we're producing, telling the stories of the people of the Bronx. The other thing we're doing is we're helping to empower our communities through the education we offer to the general public and to the students to tell the stories. And let Bronxites tell the stories themselves, ourselves. It's so important. And I think that you're right. I mean, we are storytellers. We've got storytellers in this room. BronxNet has 10 super talented local artists right now in 2-year residencies through Creatives Rebuild New York. And they are producing original programming at BronxNet while being role models for our youth and providing media arts education classes around arts, media, technology, filmmaking, including Kobena, who's here right now, who is producing a series called Stressed at BronxNet, and it's about the African immigrant experience in New York City. And you are gonna wanna binge watch this. He's working with another Creatives Rebuild New York artist named Jasmine, and we have technologists that are artists at BronxNet, as well as puppeteers. These are people who live in the Bronx that make puppets and are performers, and they're creating a new original children's series at BronxNet.
So all this is really going to be distributed through BronxNet, all these stories.
All these things are distributed through BronxNet, but guess what? The more we share, the more we have. We're looking for media partners like 1010 Wins.
Right.
We're
working on it, right?
We're a pipeline. We're a pipeline for the major networks. So our young people are working at the major networks. We could partner with those networks that are commercial networks, right? But there's ways to get the message out there efficaciously.
All right, we're going to take some questions, but I would like each of you to answer this question. Rocky, where do you see the Bronx? Where do you want it to be 10 years from now?
So 10 years from now, I want to see the Bronx as a representation of the people who live in the community, a true cultural representation of Bronxites. The artistic community, the technology community, the sports community, the creative community. We have so many talented people who live right here in the Bronx that we shouldn't even have to outsource anything because there's so much talent right here. I also want to spin back just to the question about tourism, because we have an exhibit that's open called The Revolution of Hip Hop at the Bronx Terminal Market. And shout out to Janet from the Bronx Terminal Market. So, Related and the Bronx Terminal Market gave us a free space to occupy until the museum opens up in 2024.
Yeah, so come and see it. It's free. Beautiful.
Free.
So go get a sneak peek there of what it's about. I think
Yep.
that's
So, and the reason why this is so special is because it allowed us to create like a sandbox to test things out before we actually open our space. And what we found out was that people from all around the world travel just to the Bronx Terminal Market to come experience hip hop.
destination.
And it's only a small sample. So thank you to the Bronx Terminal Market and Related for allowing us to get a space up and running. And now, 10 years from now, the Children's Museum and the Universal Hip Hop Museum, we call it Museum Row, and we got the Bronx Museum of the Arts, and we have BronxNet. We should all be working together to create like a cultural connection, a collaborative connection where we share and exchange resources so that we can create children's programming or we can create, new television shows to be on BronxNet. But more importantly, we want the big companies to invest in the Bronx. Microsoft has already made a significant investment. We need other major corporations to step up and invest in the Bronx.
Great, thank you. All right. And Carla, could you just mention your successor here and who's taking over from your marvelous
Yes.
work?
My successor is Denise Rosario Estruse, and she just started like 2 weeks ago, and she's already jumped right in, and she may even want to take this question. Should you, or should
10
I
years
try?
from now, what do you see in the Bronx? Come on over. What do you see for the Bronx or the museum 10 years from now?
Well, at the Bronx Children's Museum, we're developing the next generation of artists. And so we want to see in 10 years from now that the kids who visit the museum now, their work's going to be exhibited at the museum. And so that's our goal, is that we develop the next generation of artists, of Bronx artists. But thank you. I'm excited, so please come and visit us.
Great. Beautiful. All right. Thank you.
And if you don't mind, I'm going to add a little bit to that, because there are a few projects that we've been working on, and our staff is right over here, and I want to give them a shout out too. This is an amazing staff right here. But we, because again of Vanessa and also our city councilwoman Ayala, we have an electric bus that will be coming to this entire neighborhood. It will travel all over the Bronx.
What is it, the purple bus?
It will be purple. I imagine it will be purple. And it will do as our first bus did, and that is basically, it's sort of like a traveling love letter to the Bronx. And that is also what our museum is. I mean, we talk about it as though it's a thing, but it really is a representation of the people and the places and the historic edifices that we have here in the Bronx. So children will learn about the Bronx, and back to the question that you asked, Max, is that they're going to become advocates for the Bronx. They're going to become the ones that talk about the Bronx with pride, because at this moment it's very hard for a child to sort of get their hands around what is the Bronx, but other than their neighborhoods. Our museum will help them a great deal, and also the programming that we do in the community. And I just wanted to thank Rocky for just all the work that he's doing to bring to us, actually. He doesn't know this yet, but a lot of the people that will be coming to the Hip Hop Museum are going to come to the Children's Museum and vice versa. So we will be one big happy family.
Great. All right. Soma, 10 years, project.
10 years from now.
Not a really long time when you think about it, right? It's like the
time
near
flies.
future, right?
Time flies. 10 years from now, it's now. Listen, I just got an Instagram photo a couple of months ago of someone in Germany wearing an I Love the Bronx t-shirt, right? So 10 years from now, this is going to be everywhere in the world. 10 years from now, little kids are going to be tugging on their mom and pop's jackets, coats, sweaters, and say, if we're going to go to New York, Mommy, I have to go to the Bronx Children's Museum. The teenagers all over the world are going to be saying, if we're going to take this trip with you, we don't really want to roll with you, Mom and Dad, because you're embarrassing us, but if you take us to the Bronx, to the Universal Hip Hop Museum, we will take a family vacation with you, right? 10 years from now, especially with this hip hop experience that we're doing, taking them to like Sedgwick Avenue, to Webster Avenue, the pride instilled in the young hearts and minds of children of color is going to be next level. To know that social responsibility is going to be a community affair. To know that everyone's going to want to clean up their community, making sure that that there's screens so that BronxNet can show off all the wonderful people in the Bronx. 10 years from now, it's possible to do this. So cultural pride will be at an all-time high. Communities will be safer because of pride, and social responsibility is a community affair, and we no longer have to be knocking on the doors of corporations to help us with that, because we will be self-sustaining, our businesses will increase, revenues will go up, and the Bronx will be a borough
because they'll
that you don't want to mess with.
Participate. Great.
Exactly.
Great. All right, Max. 10 years.
So,
10 years. Are your screens going to be like down the Grand Concourse?
well, thank you, Juliet. So this is a good opportunity to kind of share how BronxNet is new on the block. So we've got our network operations, BronxNet at Lehman College. In the East Bronx, we have BronxNet at Mercy College in the Hutch Metro Center. And now we've built the BronxNet Media and Technology Studios in the South Bronx to promote digital inclusion, digital equity, and it is unprecedented in a lot of ways because there are production stages across New York and all, but there's nothing like this. Because we've built extended reality production stages, a huge cyclorama for virtual sets. When I say extended reality production stages, think Mandalorian. These are stages that surround and immerse you, even like actors. If you have a scene that you want to shoot, like in The Mandalorian, the actors are immersed in the experience, and they can respond to what they see because you're standing on these LED monitors with creating the environment, as well as you're surrounded by it. So we've got this media immersion studio, we've got a Windows on the Bronx studio, we've got innovation labs, learning labs, and more in what is really the Times Square of the Bronx, the hub.
The hub.
BronxNet is going to be at La Centrale. So you have this media academy for our youth and for the public. And then across the street, you have across the street from BronxNet, you have the Bronx YMCA at La Centrale, so there's this gymnasium. And I think that's what we're kind of looking at together with this opportunity to work together with community members to nourish the mind, body, and soul of Bronxites, to provide the opportunities for Bronxites to be part of positive transformation, and to sort of like make sure folks know around the world that the Bronx, yes, of course, there is kind of a beautiful urban landscape to the Bronx, but we are the borough of parks. There's like soul-nourishing experiences like at Bronx Yoga Lab right there near Van Cortlandt Park. So you've got opportunities to participate, and Zuma Arzu Brown is a role model for our young people, and so many here. I would say that what I see 10 years from now, and I'll just add one more thing, BronxNet has given tours from people from all over, journalists,
Is it public tours?
These are, some of them are public.
Appointed tours.
Some of them are public, some of them are through the U.S. State Department.
Okay.
And these are journalists from other parts of the world. And one set of journalists, they said, hey, we have a saying from where we are, and the saying is, c'est le Bronx. And it was really that it's messed up. But they say, now that you've shown us the Bronx and we've met the people of the Bronx, This
Well,
is
that's
beautiful.
Correct, and that is the distinction, but that's where this is headed. And we're going to have time for like quick 1 or 2 questions for the panel. And so let's open it up now, and if somebody could raise their hands here who has a question for any of the panelists. Anybody with a question? Yeah, okay, good. So, the Bronx, a destination. This is going to be a global destination, and they're making it happen. Please, a round of applause. Congratulations to all of you making this all happen, and it's happening and going strong. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Let's put your hands together for this great panel. Thank you, Juliet Papa. Juliet, thank you very much. Thanks to our borough president, to the staff here at the Hard Rock Cafe, to Suma, to Julius, to Veronica, to the 1010 Wins team, Mark Bazinski, the Dime Community Bank team that sponsors this. For more information, go to ilovethebronx.com. Okay, let's have a good night.